hello, everyone. Daddy Mcfarlane, how are you, sir?
Yes, boss. Everything good,
You looking sharp as usual, man. How
Uh,
life has been treating you?
life been good. I can't complain, otherwise from the work and the work environment. But otherwise, everything is good, man. No
All
complaint.
right, that's good. That's good. We are in the middle of the season right now. Next week is the Olympic
Hmm.
trials. We see that a lot of athletes out there, some are injured, some are not looking sharp. You have been a professional athlete for over 15 years, and it seemed like you just kept on getting better and better and better as you got older. What is the secret, and what can you do to help some of these young athletes in terms of sharing your philosophy, in terms of longevity and getting ready to run at the right time? Because you always seem to ready to run at the right time.
Well, for me, I start with a mindset and understanding the game and know what it's gonna take in order for me to perform up to the level. I'm always kind of study my competition, and I study the guys that I'm racing with. So I basically have an idea of what they're doing and how they're doing it, and I kind of model my race a lot of time in order for some of them to a certain point in order to outperform them. So I would say know the system, be disciplined, don't take anything for granted. Don't never feel like, hey, I'm better than somebody. I'm always a person who believe that. And I told my sons, Will and Swear, kind of tell it more to Will at this point because he's doing track and field, that which is kind of close to me. I say, even when you know you can beat somebody, never approach the race that way. Because you never really, really understand what they've been doing behind the scene. So
Mhm.
always stay on top of that. So those are the things I use, and I put those in my system and the way I train and the mindset in order for me to never fall asleep when I go up against competition.
Mhm. We see right now we're 1 week, less than a week for the Olympic trials in Jamaica. We see Elaine and Shelley and Fraser who are not seem to be at their best. Is there any prediction you have in terms of Shelley and Fraser and Elaine Thompson here as to where you think they might finish at the
Well,
championship?
I have a little concern on both sides. Um, I think mentally they're tougher. They're tough athletes, but Elaine, I watched both race. The one in New York when she left with seemed to be an injury, and that kind of made me a little bit concerned. I don't know if she would be, because the mind can be take you so far. I don't know how strong she is, so in her mindset to say, hey, even though I'm going through this, is whatever I'm going through, I'm gonna perform still up to standard. And I don't know if the injury gonna allow her to perform up to standard too.
Mhm.
With Shelley, um, I watch her race. Seemed like there's a problem with her knee because she didn't have that rocket start. But it seemed to me like Shelley now. I kind of feel a little bit more comfortable with Shelley because she seemed to me, even though she going through a problem, she tried to figure it out.
Mhm.
And that run that she did, I think it seemed to me like it's just a practice run. Okay, let me see. Can I push up? Let me get a time in. Everybody worrying about me so much. Let me get a time out there. And I'm looking, I think if it was trials, she would have run faster because I think she would have taken the chance and push faster. So um, I Frana is the man I'm worrying about when it come on to them because if there was no Frana, I would have definitely tell her like, hey, I feel really comfortable with them performing and making the team. But I
Mhm.
just think that Frana gonna turn up with at least three people who's gonna kind of push it, capable of maybe going 10-8 lower, or 10-9 or lower, and I think that might put a little pressure on them. But let's see.
I honestly don't know what to think in terms of what Shelly is going to do, because there's not enough data to say how far she is going to run. As it relates to Elaine, I know that with her injury, I don't think she can make it back to be at the top of the game, and with the short time that she has. Moreover, she didn't look as if she was in great shape. But as you talk about Stephen Francis, I was listening to an interview with him last night, and he was saying that, I'll let you hear the interview for yourself, but he was saying something to the effect that the J3As should get out of the way of what they do and allow the coaches to do their magic. I'm going to play the video in a minute, and I want to hear your views in terms of what you think the role of the J3A is in terms of athlete development. Well, listen to the video and tell me what you.
Okay.
Jamaica, in the form of the J3s, does not have to do anything in the senior athletics. Mr. Mills and Mr. Francis and Mr. Wilson and Mr. Stewart, okay, Stewart and Mr. Walcott up at JC and whoever else, they do all the work. They do all the work. They fund the athletes, or they arrange funding. They produce the athletes who are capable of winning medals, and the coaches overseas. All the J3As has to do is to stay out of the way. Do not put obstacles to make it more difficult. So far, as I said before, nobody pays these athletes. The government or the J3As don't pay these athletes. Right? When all the others, most of their competitors, are funded by their federations or their governments. So therefore, do not make it harder. It is hard enough for you to, for us to prepare these athletes at this level without having to also fight the policies of Mr. Riley and the J3As.
Mr. Riley did.
So what are your thoughts based on what Stephen Francis?
I think Francis is spot on. I don't know who Mr. Riley is. Is Mr. Riley have some experience in this thing, or Mr. Riley is just somebody? Because I know, like, everybody that have experience in this track and field world, I think I would have known them. And the first time I'm hearing of Mr. Riley, so obviously I think Riley is somebody just there who don't have the experience and understand. And what I'm gonna say this to the Jamaican public too. High school track and field and professional track and field is completely two different things. They run different, use a different approach, because at this point we're dealing with grown people. So, and then you're dealing with people outside of Jamaica. You know what I'm saying? Where you got to understand what system they put in place in order to get these athletes right. I like what Stephen Francis said, and way back in the days when I was running, the J3 sometime they were in the way. The J3 have to listen to these people, because obviously these people know what I'm saying. The J3 have to do their research of how to help the athlete. Talk to these coaches. These are the people they need to talk to, like, hey, what can I do in order to help you guys be better? Because Mr. Riley and the J3 president and all of those guys, they got to understand that if the J3 is funded by these athletes to a certain point, because there is no company gonna wanna sign Jamaica if Frano wasn't producing the athlete the way Frano is producing the athlete. If the other coaches them not letting the athlete them run as fast as how they are letting them run, then the J3 would be basically non-existent. I mean,
but let me say this first. I know Mr. Riley well. In fact, he has done a good job at my high school. He is also from Excelsior.
You're talking about high school.
Yeah,
There we go again. Talking about high school.
No. I'm saying that in his field, which is what Stephen Francis is saying, that he is good at what he does in his field, and Mr. Francis is saying that he is good at producing the juniors. But as it relates to the J3As,
and the juniors is high school.
Yeah.
Right, yeah.
But what I'm saying here is I was always under the impression that the J3As, their responsibility is to help develop athletes, whether they're going to come with some programs or they're going to help to fund the athletes. I think that if they are doing what is in the best interest of the athletes, they should be a support system. Wouldn't you think that can help some of the athletes transition into professional?
But you said the right words, but is the J3 doing that? Are they putting the things in place to help the athletes? You hear everybody saying that the J3 not helping them. I run professional track for years. Did J3 help me? No. So if all the people that produce it are the athletes themselves, the J3 is not doing anything for them, then there's got to be some truth to it. And the J3 always try to come out and say stuff, but they never can prove what they're doing. So I think Mr. Riley, as Fran said, need to get out the way, listen to them, so the country can continue to produce athletes. We always got to look at it too. And you cannot be a rookie trying to run this professional thing. Mr. Riley is a rookie. A rookie to come when he come on to professional. So Mr. Riley need to do his research in order to help the country. And these are facts. You can look into people that run certain company or run certain big corporation. They got experience in that field.
Let me ask you a question, Danny. When it comes to what I think the J3A should be about in terms of helping the athletes,
right?
I've seen where a lot of the clubs seem to move away to become independent, where they don't depend on the J3As in any way, because they find that it might be in their best interest to survive on their own. And as a result of that, it seems like they're adapting to a situation that can only make them better. But at the end of the day, all the other athletes who may need the help to be better, who are not good enough to say make it into a club, they tend to suffer.
So did they move away from the J3 or did they just move on? I mean, move away is like, yeah, we were helping you, but we're not giving you enough. So we're going to move on. We're going to just like, the J3 never helped them. So they just got to do them one thing. I guarantee you if the J3 come in and try to help fund them in the right way, they would definitely take it. It's the J3 trying to help. The J3 is like this. The J3 is like a rich, not knocking to the rich kid who born in riches. I'm not knocking them. But the J3 is like a kid that born in riches who the kid never go to bed hungry. So you don't understand what it takes. I understand what hunger feel like. And how to try to pull themselves out of that. They get a system where already done. The coaches, MVP, and all of them is just allowing they're not allowing. They do the work and the sponsor them come in and the J3, they take the money and whatever they do with it, whatever they do with it. So it seemed like, and I'm going to say this: if the J3 really want to help, or they say they don't have no money, this is a Jamaican thing. This is not like a private company, right? So the private company, you can do whatever you want to. And I might deviate a little bit, but I think the J3 should, once they get the contract coming in, I think the J3 need to make the contract them transparent to who, what, and what going on. So an athlete can go on a website and say, hey, J3 get this amount of money for the athletes then. Like a runner, like if I'm going to go run the 4x4, I want to see if the contract have anything in it, say, if the country get medal, do I get any cut out of it? Because the J3 need to make these things transparent because it's not their company. This is for Jamaica. And this might sit uncomfortable with you, Greg, but I'm telling you, this is what they need to do.
No, what I'm saying is nothing is uncomfortable to me. What I'm saying, well, put it this way. I want the best for the country. You want the best for the country and the athletes. Frono want the best for the country and the athletes, right?
J3 don't want the best.
So I was listening to Ricardo Chambers from Sportsmax, and he said something that stood out. And I want you to hear it, and I want your opinion based on what Ricardo Chambers said, because you talk about transparency, and he also spoke clearly on transparency. Hear what he says, and let me hear your thoughts.
There is one major issue at the Jamaica Athletics Administrative Association that has to be fixed. And I think if that is fixed, we will not have a lot of what we have seen over the last 3 days. The word, Lance, is transparency. The J3As has a massive issue with transparency. And I'm going to bring up a few things here. One, we've dealt with quite a few of these issues on this show over the last year. Athlete welfare, athletes' assistance, yeah? The J3As consistently says that they assist athletes, but nobody knows how many athletes are assisted. Nobody knows how much the J3A spends yearly assisting athletes specifically. We don't know who are the specific athletes who are assisted. We don't know the criteria for assistance for any athlete. That's a massive issue of transparency right there. Selection. There are transparency issues around selection. It showed yesterday when we had the conversation with David Riley, who didn't feel comfortable telling us who the members of the selection committee are. Now that for me, Lance, tells you everything you need to know. Why would the members of the selection committee for a national sporting association be a secret, be something that you need to contemplate whether the public should know or not? That is a significant problem, and that came out yesterday.
What are your views on that?
Listen, the man is spot on. As I always said, this is not a private company. This is the public. This is for Jamaica. You have to make sure we know who's there, who's doing what, how much money is being spent, who it's been spent on. You have to let us know. And the fact that they refuse to let us see these stuff is because I think there is something going on that they don't want us to see. I think if once they start to show us these stuff, they got to give accountability for other stuff. And I think this is where the problem is. And I don't see it coming. I don't see they're gonna do it any different unless maybe the government step in or something like that and say, hey guys, you guys got to make this transparency. You guys can't be doing this. We want to know where the money coming from because it's a Jamaican image. So these people are running. The J3 is running like, hey, this is my private company.
Well, you make some valuable point. I think Ricardo Chambers also made some valuable point. I think that if they are willing to share some of the information with the public on a whole, in fact, he made a comparison with the West Indies cricket to say that when they are picking a team, they have a press conference and they go out and they talk about who is on the team and why. And as he said, that if we can address these things, not just with the J3A, whether it's the JFF, but if we can address these things, I think that some of the issues that we are having, without a doubt, would be beneficial to the growth and the development of the athletes over a period of time. Because one of the things I found, Danny, is that the athletes are not able to help themselves. The athletes need individuals who, whether it's a rich uncle or a rich auntie or the J3A, is not everyone will be a part of the clubs where they can get the assistance. So I am saying that if the J3A want this to be better, then I think too they need to think clearly on what these people are saying, the stakeholders and the shareholders are saying in terms of
but Gregory, I've been saying this thing for a long while from I'm running for Jamaica. I've been saying these stuff. As I say, and if Willa know I've been saying these stuff for a long time. A lot of people know I've been saying these stuff that are around the Federation. Know I've been saying these stuff for a long time. And this is why I think when it come on to me, you will never hear the J3A. They say they might call up. Let me ask you a question. I'm not. It's the video is still on my side. Are you seeing me clearly?
Yeah, I'm seeing you clearly.
Okay, good. Well, you will never hear the J3A. I mean, the J3A might talk to you, it might talk to Davey, and it might talk to other people. But I'm one of the significant medalists over the years for Jamaica. You never hear the J3A try to call me here and I say, we're gonna give Danny Mcfarlane this, we want to bring in Danny for something. You never hear they say that, right? Never.
Well, I never hear them say that. I never hear them say that. Look, I tell you this, Danny.
No, I want to get my point because I've been calling for stuff like this from a long time, the transparency. I've been calling for them to set a criteria of how the funding go to the athlete. I've been calling for all of these stuff from a long time. I've been calling like, listen, if we're going to help, put away a pool of the money to help the younger one, but also you cannot pay the ones that not producing. If they're doing that, more money than the one them that producing, that's bad business. You got to pay people, get a scale. Make the contract be transparent. Make a scale, show how much money put aside to help the athlete them, and make a scale of how you're going to fund the athletes, and make that be shown so people understand what we're doing. JK would never do that. So as I say, they know what they're doing. Is a problem until the government, I think, step in and talk to them, they're not going to change. And that is how I feel, and I always feel like that. And I wouldn't be surprised if they do an audit on the J3 to find out there is a lot of stuff going on and a lot of things have been taken that people don't know anything about. I'm not saying they're doing that, but I wouldn't be surprised.
All right, Mr. Mcfarlane. I agree. Move on to the recently on that same video I saw Stephen Francis talking about the mile relay team and the decision that was made to switch up the schedule, and he believes that over the years he would talk with a couple of the president if they wanted his suggestions. But in this video here, he was talking about the chances of the mile relay team and where they are now and what they should have have done if they wanted to increase their chance at a medal in Paris. I want to hear your comment. I'll play the video and then I want to hear your comment on what you think about this.
The 4x4s, they've finally decided that they're going to give it another shot at trials. It seems they're going to move the top 16 past the first round, and they're going to finish at the final on Saturday for the 400 to the 4x4. Is that workable? Is it possible to secure this faster than 2:59.12?
Well, I don't know who they consulted with, but the first thing they should have realized that the 4x4's chance of a medal is very small. The second thing you need to realize that we have the defending champion in the 400. So our priority must be, or should be, to ensure that the 400-meter people get a chance to race like how they would be racing in the Olympics, which is 3 rounds. Now, to tell you that you're going to be running 2 rounds to accommodate a 4x4, which as I said, they were 4th the last time, and maybe they can get a bronze. I don't know, right? You want them to be there, but again, it shows you the school children thinking, right? You need your best quarter miles to run the 3 rounds at the trials to help them to progress in their 400 meters.
Well, I'll compliment video from Mr. Rayner. He did an excellent job in terms of the interview that he did with Stephen Francis. So these videos are not original. It was taken from what he did with Mr. Francis yesterday. Beautiful, beautiful job in this interview. What are your thoughts based on what Mr. Francis just said?
I would, with the way Frano put it out, I could never disagree with that. And these are the reasons. I, as a quarter miler, and I would not, I kind of see both sides, but I'm more on Frano's side because I would have never kind of sacrifice. Say I'm a hurdler. I wouldn't want them to sacrifice my round at the trials because I want to know how my body feel, or how I can repeat and what I can do. So when I go to the championship, because that's also helped me to prepare myself and to know what I'm doing. So I'm 100% with Frano with that case. And you got to understand that Frano understand the system and whoever make this decision, did they talk to the athletes then? Did they reach out to the coaches then? Did they try to, I don't know, they might, but did they reach out? Who is making this decision? Who is the final say? Is these people making the final say? How much experience they have in it? So I'm agree with Frano with that. I'd love to see the 4x4. I would do what we do and try to figure out a different way to run the 4x4. And at the same time, I'm going to give J3 a little bit respect for that because they still try to find a way to get the 4x4 out there, which I've not missed a Olympic in I can't tell when. So that's where I stand on that. I don't know if they'll be able to qualify. I think they have a better shot because the crowd is there. Do they have a team who's going to push them to run that fast? Because I don't know if these guys have experience enough to understand pace and understand how to get it done without getting pushed that way. So it's kind of tricky, and that tells you a lot about what the J3 and who is leading the J3 and how much they understand and how much they care about what goes on in Jamaica. And I'm going to say this too. Man, Frano, we need to give Frano a statue, however they call it, put it up out there in front of the stadium because this man have single-handedly financed the day trade. Because, and I'm gonna say this, you got Mr. Mills with both them coming in. I'm on, and you got other people here and there, but he's the root of a lot of this. Because, and why I say this, because people, this company wouldn't want to sign Jamaica like this if we were producing at a high level. And who's the person producing? Oh, here's upon here's upon here's produced at a high level. It's MVP crew. So the J3 must give this man a Jamaica period. I need to give this man a lot of respect, man. I mean, me a friend and a friend. No, but I just say I talk the truth. I mean, me I talk the truth. Friend of the man.
Yeah, anybody who need a statue would definitely be Stephen Francis, because
yeah, man, definitely.
In truth, I can understand financing the company, because when you look at 2008, 2012, 2016, 2020, 2021, he won back to back world championship and Olympics right through. So without a doubt, his contribution is invaluable to the nation. And
yes,
you're right. You cannot have someone like a Stephen Francis and have them park up in a corner where they're doing.
You cannot.
This is an individual that you should utilize his knowledge and his experience throughout the island, because at the end of the day, I've always said that if he pass away tomorrow, all the information and the data that he's gonna do for the years gone down the drain. And this information should pass on from one generation to the next, and we are in a very good position now to actually get it.
But what I'm saying, and we're gonna go back to the J3, I'm gonna go back to the president. What are we trying to do? Are we trying to leave J3 in a better situation? Are you just trying to like, listen, I'm gonna take what think that this hard is gonna be there. I'm gonna take I'm the president, so whatever we get, because you get something handed to you guys who is already ready, done by the coaches and the other managers and stuff, than the coaches them overseas and the athletes them just hand you everything, a gold spoon in your mouth. So you don't have to work for it. And that's why I use the rich kid, not in a bad situation, but them don't understand the struggle. So in order to get you there, so they don't understand the pain. And that's what the J3 is doing right now. They don't have to, the J3 don't have to put in the work to be successful. Period. The people that put in the work and they're not getting the kickback. The people that really put in the work, not getting the real kickback from the J3 or from the sponsor them that come in the country. And I think that the government should really make sure that Frano have that out front. Because that's man of the man of the man. We can't take that away from Frano. Yeah, the man of the real deal.
Well, Mr. Mcfarlane, you have said a lot. I know time is of the essence for you. You're a very busy man. Is there any final thoughts you want to leave with us? Also, is there any pick that you see in terms of next week at the championship? Who you see as the favorite? Who you think may not make it through? Is there any indication, any suggestion that you want to share?
Well, I'm not gonna make no pick. I'm just gonna be ready to watch the people perform. And I'm hoping that we get some good time. And that's about it. And Jamaica have to understand that here, wherever we are always willing to give knowledge back to the country, and we have to take advantage of these knowledge that's around at this point.
Mr. Mcfarlane, it's a pleasure to have you on Let's Talk with Dr. Greg. I appreciate your insight. You're very straightforward. You're frank. You say it as you feel it. I appreciate your commentaries. And you have something else you want to say?
Yeah, I can't be straightforward because I don't need nothing from the J3.
Get it. Any final thought, Mr. Mcfarlane?
Well, no, we're good. Big up Jamaica, one love. Big up your Dr. Gregory Harton every time.
All right, sir. Say no more. We're
All
out
right, cool.
of here. God bless you.
Respect. Yeah,
Yeah.
man. All right.
Thank you all for coming out. I appreciate you taking the time to listen to Mr. Mcfarlane and myself. If you have any questions when we do our lives, we welcome the questions. We want to hear your comment. If you have not subscribed to the channel yet, please go ahead and do so. And as we continue to build the channel, I want you to know that whatever we do, it's all about Jamaica. God bless.